Welcome to Blackbriar Gaming. In preparation for the new edition of Horus Heresy, Warhammer Community are going legion by legion, teasing us with rule snippets from the upcoming release. Today, we'll be looking at the 9th Legion, the Blood Angels. Just a quick note before we get into it, as we're a new channel, a subscribe and a like really helps us reach a bigger audience. So if you enjoyed the video, please hit those buttons down below. Just quickly, before we get into the Blood Angels, I just want to address my comments on the Night Lord's rules. Multiple people have chimed in to point out that it's likely better than I gave it credit for in my video yesterday. And I've had a good think about it, discussed it with a few people, and I will admit I may have undersold it, and I've since been enlightened. I think it looks pretty good on the scale of things. It's definitely usable, definitely relevant throughout the game. And indeed, when compared to the rules that we've seen for the Blood Angels today, the Night Lords are actually looking pretty good. So that's combined to change my mind, along with all the comments I got on the video that were giving examples of where the rule would come into effect. So thank you for all those comments. I'm more than happy to admit I may have undersold those rules, and they're looking pretty good. But before we get into discussing the Blood Angel rules for the day, let's talk about them. So why I like the Blood Angels. I'm a really big fan of their aesthetics. In fact, when Book 8 dropped, the big black book, Heresy book, dropped, I got into the Blood Angels very briefly, painted up Sanguinius, put together a few models, painted them, really enjoyed it, but Heresy was kind of dying out at the time, and unfortunately my enthusiasm dropped off pretty rapidly for them when it didn't look like there'd be any games or any real future for the system, which I now regret. I wish I had followed it through. Sold off all the Blood Angel stuff I had, except for a few models, and Sanguinius. I've got him up on a shelf because he's just lovely. He just looks great, and gotta love the whole blood aesthetic thing they've got going, and the gilded idea of their models with gold all over them. I really like it. I think they look really great, especially because underneath that veneer of civility and the flashy armor are just these flesh-eating psychopaths that are barely held in check by their Primarch. I really like that idea, and what I really like about them is their kind of pre-heresy, their pre-heresy construct, what they're doing before Sanguinius finds them, and that's what I'm talking about here. They're pre-Primarch operations. So they were known as the Revenant Legion, I believe, and they were going around and just decimating alien civilizations and taking some serious hits in the meantime. Sanguinius really saved this legion when he was reunited with them. I like the whole tragedy of Sanguinius all throughout the Heresy as he moves closer and closer to his death, and then his sacrifice in the end, and the mental scarring that this leaves on the Legion as well. The whole idea about the Red Thirst is really great, comes back to this idea that this Legion is not corrupted, but that they're unstable, and it's Sanguinius holding them together, which makes his sacrifice even worse, because he really knows that he's leaving his Legion to just devolve into these crazy bloodthirsty maniacs. So lots of cool things going on for the Blood Angels. Blood Angel armies looks great. Their units are really cool. Lots of things to like about them. Not so much their rules. So let's look at that. So the rules that we've seen today. First up, Encarmine Fury. It reads, all models with the Legiones Astartes Blood Angels special rule require one lower result to wound than they would normally, to a minimum of 2+. On any turn in which they are part of a successful charge against an enemy unit, even if that charge is counted as disordered. What a treat. This effect, then they give some examples, I won't go into it. In addition, any vehicle with the Blood Angels special rule that makes a ram attack increases the strength of any hits inflicted by +1 to a maximum of 10. Strength 10. Firstly, don't really care about that ramming rule. Ramming wasn't a big thing in First Edition Heresy. I don't think it'll be a big thing in Heresy 2.0. So it's a bit of a lazy afterthought just to chuck that one on, so we'll almost ignore that going forward. The first part. I think this may be the most underwhelming rule we've seen so far, which is such a shame because there are a lot of Blood Angel fans out there, and there's going to be a lot of bitter Blood Angel fans going forward today. Indeed, my hobby husband Dean, he's already sent me a bunch of rambling voice messages about what he thinks of the Blood Angel rules, which I've thoroughly enjoyed. Essentially, with it only working on the charge, and we saw this with the Emperor's Children as well, they have the same kind of idea, but whereas theirs is a real benefit, being able to go first is huge. Getting +1 to strength, it's not So it's not +1 to strength. It's a one lower result to wound. Sorry, it's just not that exciting. Getting the charge off itself takes work. It's not going to happen all the time. There will probably be reactions that help them do this, sure. But how many times is this army-wide special rule going to come into effect in a game? Once, maybe twice. Very rarely any more than twice. And furthermore, it encourages a very one-dimensional army build, which I don't love either. So if you need to get those charges off to take advantage of this rules, you're looking at units packed into land raiders, assault land raiders of various descriptions. You're looking at units deep striking with jump packs, and that's probably about it. There's some other fringe cases, I'm sure. But in the end, jump pack troops and guys stuffed into land raiders doesn't make for the most exciting army in the world. And indeed, look, most Blood Angel armies are probably going to go down that way, but it's nice to have this flexibility to build a nice, balanced kind of army and still have your special rules be relevant. So I think that's a bit of a missed opportunity here. So overall, don't love these special rules. Think they're a bit underwhelming. Are they the worst that we've seen so far? Possibly. Are they absolutely terrible? No, let's not go nuts. They'll still be useful. They'll still make Blood Angels pretty brutal in that at least first phase of assault when they get the charge off. But other than that, then it drops off. Then they just become regular Marines, and there's not much exciting about your red vampire, space vampire, mad people. All right, so that is the army special rule. I don't think I need to hark on to that. The only other piece of rules that we got today, and once again, this is a bit of a shame, so not only were we disappointed by that underwhelming special rule, the only other bit we got was this pistol stat. So we're getting a little less than the other legions here in regards to the rules we're having revealed to us, but let's look at this pistol. So any Blood Angel may exchange a plasma pistol for an Inferno pistol at no additional cost. The weapon listed here is counted as a melta weapon for those rules that affect such weapons. Now it is range 6, strength 8, AP 1, type pistol 1, armor bane, melta. Pretty familiar. We've seen it before. It's, I don't believe, changed much since first edition. I'm also not really excited about this pistol. It's nice, I guess. How many times are you going to use it against a vehicle? Probably not that many. When you're coming down, let's say you're doing a bunch of deep striking, as Blood Angels will want to do, and with one of their rights of war will be all about it. Your opponent's probably going to be pretty clever. They're going to screen out their vehicles, right? They're not actually going to let you get within 6 inches of their vehicles to do these infernal pistol shenanigans. Even if you do, it's not that exciting. So for GW to deduce these two rules to show us, bit underwhelming today. One could argue that in first edition Heresy, the Blood Angels were a bit too spicy for their own good, mainly when combined with the almost broken Rite of War when they were dropping out of the sky with all the buffs and stats that they got to it. So they've gone for a bit of a tone down here, much like we saw with the White Scars. Have they gone too far in trying to balance the Blood Angels? I believe so. I would have been more than happy for Blood Angels to keep that one lower result to wound for all phases of combat. I don't think, not just on the charge. I think that would have been fine, but it is what it is. Now, very quickly, let's just note, the world isn't ending, Blood Angels players. It's going to be okay. Don't go setting your armies on fire. From the playtest rules that we've seen, there are some other great aspects to the army. In particular, the Rights of War, both of them, are now very usable, quite balanced. Furthermore, they've had a real effort to increase the usability of your Legion-specific units as well. They're pretty great. So the Blood Angels will have some great things going for them. Unfortunately, we didn't see those things today, and I'm sure there'll be some disappointed players out there. And that brings us to the end of our Heresy chats for today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about the Blood Angel rules in the comments below. Make sure to keep rolling those dice and getting hyped for Heresy.